Imagine a woman capable of smiling in front of a jury while being accused of one of the most brutal murders ever committed in Arizona. A woman convinced she can manipulate the police, the justice system, public opinion, and even you. This is the terrifying story of Jodi Arias, the woman who believed she could talk her way out of a homicide. In the courtroom, Jodi Arias acted as if she was untouchable, calm, composed, made up as if she were going to a photo shoot. She stared at the jurors, exchanged little smiles with her lawyers, as if she wasn't facing life in prison for an act of unimaginable brutality. But behind this perfect facade was a massacre beyond belief. On June 9, 2008, friends of Travis Alexander, a well-liked salesman and motivational speaker, began to worry for him. They hadn't heard from him in 5 days. They decided to check on him. When they opened the bathroom door, they stumbled upon the unthinkable. Travis had been stabbed 29 times. His throat had been slit from ear to ear, and he had been shot in the head. A carnage so violent that investigators had zero doubt. This murder was personal, driven by deep hatred. But how could such horror happen? Before we continue, make sure to subscribe if you love true crime cases, real stories, and in-depth analysis. Your support means everything to this channel. The story between Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias begins in September 2006 at a large professional event in Las Vegas. Travis, charismatic and warm, naturally drew attention. Brilliant, outgoing, reassuring, he had this rare gift that made people feel comfortable from the very first conversation. When Jodi, a 27-year-old photographer, met him, the chemistry was immediate. They talked for hours, exchanged numbers, and very quickly, what started as a simple professional contact became something much deeper. Travis was touched by his admiration and the way she listened. Jodi was captivated by his success and magnetism. A few weeks later, they became a couple. Travis, deeply committed to his Mormon faith, tried to follow its strict rules forbidding any sexual relations before marriage. But the passion between them went far beyond the limits he tried to set. Their relationship became intimate, and Travis experienced this as a true inner conflict. He told his friends about it. He felt guilty, torn between his religious beliefs and his connection with Jodi. Despite their intense bond, their relationship was pure chaos, breakups, reconciliations, endless arguments. Little by little, Travis realized that something was wrong. In the summer of 2007, he officially ended the relationship. For him, it was over. For Jodi, absolutely not. After the breakup, she continued acting as if nothing had changed. She wrote to him, called him, showed up at his house unannounced, stayed available day and night, and above all, she refused to accept that he might meet someone else. Slowly, her behavior became more and more disturbing. Some would even say obsessive. She started by spying on his social media, not like a normal person, but by hacking into his Facebook account to read his private messages, monitor his conversations, and track every interaction with women. Then she began to follow him. When he went out, she appeared. When he came home late, she was waiting in her car on the street. When he spoke to another woman, she found out almost immediately. One day, Travis told friends that Jodi had caught him simply talking with a female friend. Hours later, that friend received an anonymous message, calling her a homewrecker. And that was only the beginning. Jodi began entering his house without warning. Sometimes, Travis would wake up and find her standing in his room watching him sleep. Other times, neighbors saw her hiding near his windows at night, peering inside like a silent shadow. Then came the sabotage, slashed tires. Once, then again. Never a coincidence. Travis's friends saw the pattern. Jodi refused to be ignored. Jodi refused to be replaced. Travis himself began to feel genuinely afraid. He talked about it, sometimes jokingly, sometimes with visible worry. He said she would show up out of nowhere, hide in his yard, enter his home without permission. But even then, he struggled to cut ties completely. Like many people trapped in a toxic relationship, he was stuck in a cycle of distance and reconnection, mixing desire, attachment, and guilt. And Jodi knew it, and she used it. In May 2008, Jodi moved back to her grandparents' house in California. Travis could finally breathe, and so could his loved ones. Everyone hoped the distance would calm things down. But this wasn't a breakup, just a pause. A dangerous pause because Jodi tolerated being pushed aside less and less. The following month, in June, Travis planned a romantic trip to Cancun, Mexico. He wasn't going alone. He invited Mimi Hall, a friend he wanted to get to know better. For Travis, this trip represented a fresh start. For Jodi, it was an intolerable humiliation. And within days, this vacation that was supposed to be a moment of peace would turn into tragedy. A trip Travis Alexander would never take.
Disturbing events. In early June, several strange things happen. A .25 caliber gun disappears from Jodi's grandparents' home. She rents a car 150 kilometers away from her residence so no one will recognize her. She buys gas cans so she won't have to stop during the trip. She turns off her phone while crossing Arizona. All of this looks like a carefully planned preparation. On June 4, Jodi arrives at Travis's house. The photos recovered from her camera, the one she tried to destroy in the washing machine, show the last minutes in which Travis is still alive. Then, 45 seconds later, a blurry image reveals the bathroom floor and Travis already collapsed, covered in blood. In 45 seconds, everything falls apart. Travis tries to escape. He fights, he crawls, but Jodi catches him, stabs him repeatedly, then slits his throat with extreme violence. Finally, she shoots him in the head. She then places his body in the shower, cleans up, deletes the photos, turns her phone back on, and drives to Utah, where she kisses another man, as if nothing had happened. An extraordinary manipulator. When investigators finally start focusing on Jodi Arias, they have no idea they're about to face one of the most calculating and theatrical manipulators they've ever encountered. For them, it's a routine interrogation in a brutal homicide where the ex-girlfriend is naturally a prime suspect. For Jodi, it's something else entirely, a stage where she believes she can control the narrative, a place where she imagines she can charm, convince, perform, as if the simple power of her words could erase the most incriminating evidence. What comes next shows she is willing to invent anything as long as it protects her image. Version 1. I wasn't there. The ordinary lie. During her first interview with Detective Flores, Jodi sits with icy calm. She crosses her legs, speaks softly, almost kindly, as if she wants to be seen as a gentle person, incapable of violence. When he asks her if she was at Travis's house on June 4, she answers without hesitation. Absolutely not. I was nowhere near Mesa. I haven't seen Travis in weeks. She remains confident, convinced that her calm tone will be enough. But she doesn't know investigators already have the photos, the ones recovered from the camera soaked in the washing machine, the ones taken right before the murder, and even the ones that accidentally captured the first seconds of the attack. When the detective shows her the images, her expression barely changes. No panic, no tears, no visible shock. She simply asks, "Are you sure that's me?" As if one sentence could cancel out a clear photo of her standing right next to Travis. Her first story collapses. She immediately creates a new one. Version 2. Two intruders attacked us. The spectacular lie. Faced with the evidence, Jodi doesn't break. She refuses to acknowledge anything. She doesn't even realize she could cooperate to help her case. Instead, she launches into a story so absurd that even a low-budget movie wouldn't dare to use it. She suddenly claims she was at Travis's house, but that two masked intruders, a man and a woman, burst in while Travis was in the shower. The man allegedly shot Travis. The woman supposedly tried to kill her. She says she fainted, then woke up alive, untouched, without any reason, without anything stolen, without any trace, and without the slightest logic. She mimics the scene, changes her voice, alters her breathing like an actress improvising a poorly rehearsed role but convinced of her dramatic effect. Yet none of it makes sense. No forced door, no unknown fingerprints, no signs of a struggle involving an intruder, no serious injuries on Jodi, and worst of all, no explanation for why she would be spared. Even more damning, the photos prove she was alone with Travis at the exact moment the attack occurred. Her second version collapses instantly.
Version 3. It was self-defense, the most dangerous lie. Then comes the third story, the one she will stick to in court, the one she builds her entire defense strategy around. She now claims that Travis attacked her after she dropped his camera. According to her, he supposedly flew into a violent rage, threw her to the ground, and she panicked, ran to the closet, grabbed a gun, and shot him to save her life. She talks about panic, a blackout, total confusion, a moment where her memory shut down. But once again, the facts contradict her. Travis's injuries are those of a man fighting to survive, not an attacker. His throat, slit nearly to the point of decapitation, has nothing to do with self-protection. The 29 stab wounds reflect an explosion of rage, not a desperate reaction. The gunshot to the head is an execution, not an uncontrolled reflex. The photos show Travis standing, calm and relaxed, moments before the attack. Everything points to a single truth. This murder was no accident. Star when she thinks she's alone, Jodi's true face. But the most disturbing part isn't what she says. It's what she does when she thinks no one is watching. Alone in the interrogation room, unaware she is being filmed, the mask falls. She doesn't sob. She doesn't shake. She shows no fear, no regret. She does a handstand against the wall like a bored child. Then she starts singing. She hums "O Holy Night," a Christmas song. She smiles. She plays with her hair, smooths her makeup, watches her reflection, shifts her facial expressions as if she's rehearsing a scene. She poses. She adjusts her clothes. She studies her profile like a model before a photo shoot. No sign of trauma, no panic, no remorse. Instead, everything reveals a personality obsessed with her own image. An expert at crafting a role, detached from consequences, more manipulative than any fictional character. An actress, a strategist, a woman convinced she can persuade anyone, even when the evidence screams the opposite. On May 8, 2013, after weeks of testimony, the decision falls. Guilty of first-degree murder, premeditated and exceptionally cruel. Jodi faces the death penalty. The jury cannot reach unanimity, but the judge ultimately sentences her to life in prison without the possibility of release. To this day, she paints, sells her artwork, gives interviews, presents herself as a victim, still manipulative, still calculating. Not a single sincere word, not a single sign of regret for Travis. A chilling lesson. The Jodi Arias case reminds us of a brutal truth. Danger doesn't always come with a threatening face. Sometimes the sweetest smile hides the most monstrous violence. If this story gripped you, make sure to subscribe. We'll continue exploring the most striking crimes, the most dangerous personalities, and the most unsettling truths. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and remember, evil doesn't always look the way you expect.